Etapu, assalamu alaikum, namaste, huru nefer. This is Kasank Ma'akaparu with another exciting video for you. In this video, we're going to get into who funds Black Lives Matter. But before I do that, I want you to hit the like button on this video. If this is your first time to my channel, hit the subscribe bell to get notifications on when I go live and when I upload recorded videos. We do also have free ebooks for you if you're looking to expand your spiritual knowledge. Just scroll down below, click on any one of the ebook links, download them today, and you can start reading them. If you want to take your journey to the next level, you can become a Patreon supporter. You can do so for as little as $1, $5, or $20 per month. You can cancel at any time. There's no obligation. You'll get exclusive access to instructional videos on how to meditate, how to astral project, how to invoke the ancestors, how to invoke spirits for your protection, how to do self-hypnosis, Qigong videos, and so much more. So become a Patreon supporter today. And last but not least, please share this video with family and friends so we can get this revolution started. So, Huru Nefer, I want to talk about a couple of things today before I get deep into the subject matter. And I want to dedicate this broadcast to the High Priestess in the Tarot deck. Now, the High Priestess is the priestess that reveals secrets or knows secrets. She's also intuitive and uses intuition. We relate her to Tahuti or Thoth or Hermes because in life, counter to what Western society teaches you, because they're very based on left brain paradigm thinking, whereas life is about being intuitive, knowing how to adjust, to adapt to the times. And when you are working with an oracle like the tarot and you have the High Priestess, this means that not only are you going to look into deep secrets, the underpinnings of how things work, but you're going to need to change, adapt, use your intuition to get through to the situation. And again, that is symbolized by Tahuti. And this is why Tahuti is made as Ma'at, because Ma'at sets the law. And Tahuti then comes and he acts dynamically, energetically, intuitively to apply the law correctly. We have a sick system of justice where it takes a law and thinks it should be just strictly applied. And then it doesn't even do that correctly because Wall Street bankers who will bankrupt companies, destroy 401ks, waste their lives on cocaine will get no prison sentences, whereas a black male in the street with a bag of weed will be locked away for 20 years. How is that fair? How is that justice? Do you understand what I'm saying? So I'm dedicating this to the High Priestess, also to the goddess Sekert, goddess of spiritual power, who commands the 72 mantras, the words of power that brought forth the universe, all that there is, reality. And always we give praise to God, Lord of all, Nebecher. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to understand something here, that we are dealing with chameleons. We are dealing with shysters, very sinister people who know how to set the chessboard up in their favor. You see, when they come to you with the chess game, they say, well, which piece do you want, white or black? Your answer should be you should say, I choose not to play the game, because there's no advantage in you playing that game, because no matter if you think you will win, they win. They have a stake in either side. You see, when you look at organizations like Black Lives Matter, you think that it's out there for your benefit, for the benefit of black males who have been victims of police brutality. But then you have to ask the question, why is it that the organization is run by women? And more importantly, why is it run by women who are feminists and from the gay, lesbian, transgender community? And nothing, I have no problems with them. But why are they at the helm of pushing forward or pushing forth the issue of police brutality against black males, when on their very website, they are diametrically opposed to the black family? And by extension, opposed to black male heterosexuality. Something is not right. Hence, we get the High Priestess card telling us there is a secret to be revealed. This is a bait and a switch. You see, you have these institutions, these private institutions or think tank institutions that come along and they fund individuals. And those individuals who are billionaires fund organizations like Black Lives Matter with an agenda. Very clandestine, very subversive. You know, when you get into Black nationalism, what they talk about is how much the white man hates us and the white man wants to do this. But if that is so, why is the white man funding Black Lives Matter and these other organizations like the NAACP and all that? They hate you so much. Well, we need to look into this. We need to follow the trail of dollars and say, well, who's backing this? Why? And what is the ultimate goal? Do you understand? And unfortunately, we have galvanized around an organization that is not organic, that was specifically created for a specific purpose, not intended for what they publicly pretend. It is the bait and switch. You look in a newspaper, you see a car you want, you go to the car dealer says, and that car is at a low price. So you go to the car dealer, you say, I want to see this car. I love it. The price looks good. The car dealer says, oh, we sold out of that, but I got another car here, and it's a more expensive car, and it's a lemon. That's a bait and a switch. So the Black Lives Matter runs around and say, we're for against police brutality and racial harmony. Join us. And then again, you go to their website, and their website is diametrically opposed to that. Their website specifically talks about the hatred of Black male heterosexuality. It talks about not wanting to back the Black family. What the heck is that about? They have it plain and simple on the website. Now, the reason why I'm bringing that up, because I'm going somewhere with this, all right? They are telling you specifically in big words, we are about the gay and lesbian and transgender community. We oppose the Black family. We oppose Black male sexuality. In fact, on their website, they talk about how they consider the history of Black male heterosexuality to have been many of the problems, because it's been the conventional thought process, and they want to break that. Now, let's go back to my father, Tahuti. Let's go back to the High Priestess. Now, this is dynamic thinking, intuitive thinking. Please follow me here. It causes you to use your right brain. The left brain thinks only in terms of a paradigm. So when you want to do something, the left brain says, it goes back and it needs what we call as reference experience. It goes back, it references your library in your mind and says, have we done this before? And if it cannot find a file that has what you want that has been done before, it cannot do it. The left brain is not inventive. This is only the right brain, only Tahuti, only the High Priestess. Now, the 10 Commandments of the Bible and the Christians was created by left brain thinkers because it's absolute. It's a closed loop thought, meaning thou shalt not kill. No other, you cannot have circumstances. You just cannot kill. I don't care if it's to protect your wife and kids. You do not kill. That is concrete, closed-minded thinking based on a paradigm. Intuitive thinking says there are times when you must kill, like to defend your country, defend your people, defend your family. That is intuitive thinking. Now, let me bring it over now. When you look at the purpose as outlined by Black Lives Matter on their website, and you see that they oppose Black male heterosexuality, and you look at the fact that the Black community is suffering from a myriad of things: mass incarceration, the influx of drugs into the Black community, which were planted there, liquor stores, high unemployment, high drug use, Black on Black crime, health issues, hypertension, high blood pressure, colon cancer, obesity, food deserts. Shall I go on? Now, understanding that the ruling elite wants to depopulate the minority community or the global minority community, because this is outlined in their eugenics doctrines. Just research Nazi Germany, research Margaret Sanger and her plans when she wanted to outreach to Black women via Planned Parenthood to murder unborn Black babies. And I'm not saying I'm for or against abortion. I'm just telling you that her plan was to depopulate the country, North America, of Black people, partnering with associations, alleged associations with the Nazis, eugenics organizations here in North America. Understanding that you have a country that has given safe haven to Nazis after the fall of the Third Reich, under Project Paperclip, the Vatican allowed the Nazi scientists to come in, giving them immunity from prosecution, set them up in NASA, set them up in important positions in the United States government. Nazis. Given this information, then you must understand that there is a sentiment in this country that wants to depopulate the planet of people of color. Knowing that, why would you then have an organization like Black Lives Matter, which proposes that it is against the Black family and Black male heterosexuality? Because if you oppose that, you then oppose the depopulation and the destruction of the Black race. Do you understand? Now, let's understand this. According to Tahuti, is intuitive thinking, logic here. Is it applicable or pertinent? Is it feasible for us to adapt as an ideology widespread what Black Lives Matter is propagating, when we know that there are a large decrease in population in the Black community? Do we need the ideas, the ideology of hatred of the nuclear family, the Black family? Do we need people who are going to bring that to the Black community to further decrease the Black population? Tahuti intuitive thinking says, no, you don't. You need to foster the Black family. You need to foster the patriarchy so that there's a strong male presence in the Black community to defend it. Follow me here. The Black community is the canary in the coal mine. Slavery was the beta test for world enslavement. So as soon as they're done with the Black community, that same program, hatred of heterosexual white males, is going to be instituted. Targeting heterosexual males as the enemy. That is what they are going to do. But the problem exists is that those in the conspiracy theory arena are so steeped in their own racism, they are too deaf, dumb, and blind to see it coming. I want to play a video for you so you can understand how lost they are and how bad at research they are. In fact, I don't even know if they're bad at research. I would just say that they know the truth, but they don't want to admit it to themselves and to other people. Let's take a look at this video, and it's going to follow the money trail. You're going to see where Black Lives Matter gets its money from. And I'm going to speak about how the conspiracy theory arena chooses to ignore the blatant truth that's in their face, and which is going to cause their downfall. So let's go to, let me share my screen and we'll go to that video here. And while we're saying that, I have no problem with anybody in the LGBTQ, or the alphabet community, let's say it that way. Much love to everyone. But we got to look at the truth of what's going on here. All right. Here we go.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Spiro. Thanks for tuning in. Black Lives Matter has been dominating the headlines for weeks, and there's been a lot of speculation regarding the funding of this organization, with many fingers quick to point at George Soros. So the million-dollar question, did Soros fund Black Lives Matter? Yes, he absolutely did, and I'll get to more of that in a minute. But George Soros is not the only source of funding for Black Lives Matter. In fact, Soros and his funding is just another spoke in the wheel of a massive, well-financed, politically motivated campaign with the desired goal to transform this current system of control and destroy it, basically, and out of the ashes of that, build a new system of control. This certainly sounds like a reoccurring theme right now, very similar to what we've been hearing from the United Nations, the World Economic Forum, the central banks, and governments from around the world as they are preparing for the Great Reset and a global paradigm shift, which we'll get back to later in this video. But right now, we're going to look at who exactly is funding Black Lives Matter. According to their website, Black Lives Matter was founded in 2013 in response to the acquittal of Trayvon Martin's murderer. Black Lives Matter Foundation Incorporated is a global organization in the United States, the UK, and Canada, whose mission is to eradicate white supremacy and build local power, who intervene in violence inflicted on Black communities by the state and vigilantes, by combating and countering acts of violence, creating space for Black imagination and innovation, and centering Black joy. The BLM movement exploded in 2014 after a police officer shot dead unarmed 18-year-old Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri, a controversial case as police responded to a robbery, and the suspect, Mike Brown, allegedly attacked the police officer, Darren Wilson, who then shot and killed Mr. Brown, according to reports. Now, a grand jury declined to press charges on the police officer. This was the catalyst for large Black Lives Matter protests that turned violent and became riots, where we all witnessed massive civil unrest as demonstrators clashed with police and the National Guard on a scale that was shocking at the time, and so was the militarized police response. Around this time is when George Soros stepped in through his Open Societies Foundation, as well as grant making from the Center of American Progress to the tune of $33 million to fund Black Lives Matter. Now, in addition to the $33 million contributed by George Soros, another funding campaign was formed, the Movement for Black Lives, which received $100 million through the Black-led Movement Fund, paid for by the Ford Foundation and Borealis Philanthropy, and directly funded Black Lives Matter and dozens of other similar groups, actually up to 150 other groups, including Black Lives Matter. Now, Black Lives Matter at that point had not only secured the financial support of wealthy donors, but also had the backing from their media organizations, which in addition to helping Black Lives Matter to recruit, it also helped to sell their movement and sow racial division, sell the narrative. This is classic divide and conquer. Now, fast forward to 2016, a US presidential election year. BLM makes another massive strategic alliance with the Thousand Currents Foundation, which secured a fiscal sponsorship, which refers to the practice of a NGO, a nonprofit organization, offering their legal and tax-exempt status to groups, which is what this Thousand Currents Foundation did for Black Lives Matter. And typically, this is only done with projects that the sponsoring organization endorses, okay? And there's much more into this Thousand Current group and who they were previously. We're gonna move on. Shortly after this new partnership, the Kellogg Foundation gave a 3-year, $900,000 grant to the Berkeley, California-based Thousand Currents Foundation to build the infrastructure and capacity of the national Black Lives Matter movement. The Kellogg Foundation also contributes to other left-wing groups which actively work against the conservative and Republican politicians and their agendas. Again, keep in mind that the left-right paradigm is a false paradigm. This again falls into the divide and conquer strategy. Okay, moving on. In addition to funding Black Lives Matter, other Kellogg Foundation notable contributions include $49 million to the Tides Foundation, additional millions to the NAACP, the ACLU, the Southern Poverty Law Center, and George Soros' Open Society Foundation, just to name a few. Think that those dollars don't come with any strings attached? Well, decide for yourself. So we have already covered the early days and the recent history of Black Lives Matter, who has already received millions and millions of dollars over the years. But what about now? Who else is funding Black Lives Matter? Well, I saved the best for last for you. You want to know who else is funding Black Lives Matter right now? Well, chances are it's you. You, that's right, and me, and your brothers, and your sisters, and your neighbors, and your friends, and your coworkers, and millions of people around the world, and they probably don't even realize it. How is this possible, you ask? Well, because companies and mega corporations that you most likely do business with, and if not you, millions and millions of people around the world do business with, these companies are donating hundreds of millions of dollars to Black Lives Matter and Black Lives Matter related groups at this point. Companies and mega corporations like Google, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Walmart, Target, Home Depot, Nike, YouTube, Twitter, Microsoft, Netflix, Airbnb, virtually all of the major cell providers, just to name a few. The list literally goes on and on and on, and I'm going to provide links below so you can go through and see for yourself. So will someone please explain to me how exactly this Black Lives Matter movement is a grassroots organization when literally they have the support from virtually it's the entire establishment at this point? I haven't even gotten into the politicians or the celebrities who have publicly endorsed this or donated money themselves. So the next time you hear somebody say, well, how come Black Lives Matter is allowed to protest and riot and loot and beat people in the streets and kill people in the streets across the country and other countries while the rest of us are on lockdown? The answer is because they not only have the support of the establishment, they are a proxy army of the establishment or the deep state or whatever you want to call it. And when you read over the foundations which fund and support Black Lives Matter, you see that they also support the UN Agenda 21, the UN 2030 agenda, just like these mega corporations do. So I'm not surprised to see that the United Nations has been trying to get involved in this situation here in the US, because in my view, this plays right into the planned destruction of this country, and it's happening right now. This is just the next phase of the operation. And just to be clear, I'm not Republican and I'm not Democrat. I support basic human rights and civil liberties for everyone. But when I see a proxy army conducting a destabilization operation under the false pretext of seeking racial and social justice, I have to call it out. I have to call BS. This is not really about justice. This is certainly not about Black lives, especially when you take into consideration the fact that Black Lives Matter is funded by rich white men, endorsed by the establishment, the same establishment that oppresses each and every one of us regardless of our race, our religion, our sexual orientation. This is divide and conquer 101. If we are too busy fighting each other over a manufactured crisis sold to us by the media and the politicians and the celebrities, we will never rise up above this system of oppression which is targeting all of us. Wake up.
All right, so very, very detailed there, and you know, I mean, he has a lot of points there, but I think it dawned on me while listening to him again why he's not revealing certain things. Okay, I want you to understand, if Black Lives Matter came out and say, hey, listen, we are for the alphabet community, that is our agenda, that's what we want to do, I would have no problem with that. I'd be like, all right, you know, you're one of many other organizations, alphabet organizations looking to promote their cause. Nothing wrong with that. Go do it. More power to you. But the issue I'm having is, why the subterfuge? Why aren't you admitting, which in part they are, they're your real agenda? Why are you using the deaths of Black males as a bait and switch tactic? Because sure enough, you're going to find they're going to switch it, and you're going to see exactly what they really stand for. Now, what concerns me is this gentleman who is going through all of this support, talking about where the money is coming from, and he's absolutely right. You have to understand that there are these think tank institutions, which are like the Kellogg Foundation, the Ford Foundation, like the Rockefeller Institution, and these organizations do funnel money into these other organizations like the Black Lives Matter, NAACP, Congress of Racial Equality, So you have to question that. You have to really like say, how is Black Lives Matter getting $100 million? And then you also see that they have the support of the media and politicians. What's going on here? Now, this gentleman demonstrates bad journalism and bad research, because this is not a tactic per se about divide and conquer, about sowing the seeds of racial division. That's a lie, and he knows it's a lie, because he is the one that's sowing racial division. He is the one that's not telling you the truth. If you listen to his words, he says Black Lives Matter caused riots, they were looting, they killed people, and they beat people. And what he should have said was agents within the organization of Black Lives Matter, because Black Lives Matter, there are many good white people, good Black people, good Latinos, good Asian, whatever, Pacific Islanders who support Black Lives Matter and who march and protest. And we know, and I've done a video on this, that those individuals who were throwing bricks into businesses, burning down businesses, burning cars, overturning cars, were agents of the establishment to aggravate the system so that we can be pushed closer to martial law. But instead of him blaming the true criminals, pointing the finger at those agents provocateurs, he used a general statement and said it was the Black Lives Matter people. And it's not the Black Lives Matter people. And by extension, he's really saying Black people, because he himself, I believe, is a racist. And I don't use that term lightly, because if he did his research, which he did, and went to Black Lives Matter's website, then he should have said what their real agenda was, because they stated what their agenda was on their website. And we've seen the videos of who was actually the agent provocateurs. So he can miss me with this Black Lives Matter is sowing racial division. Black people are causing riots, looting, killing people. That's not what's happening. This tactic of infiltrating or creating false organizations or infiltrating those organizations goes back decades to the Black Panther Party, to the Nazi movement, where we know in the Black Panther Party, the FBI was involved, or got involved in that, and had agents in there. Nation of Islam had agents in there to cause division between Elijah Muhammad and Malcolm X, to cause division between Malcolm X and Dr. Martin Luther King, to cause that rift, But for him not to point out the fact that there is an agenda that Black Lives Matter is pushing that's not congruent with what Black people as a whole want. Instead, he pushes this racial division. In fact, listen to me. What we have seen come out of the George Floyd death is galvanizing of all people of color, specifically Black and white people, working together to stand together. There has been no division. What is he talking about? What division are you talking about? You see, he's trying to plant the seeds in his viewers and his followers to cause racial division himself. Because it's not coming out of the movement that we see on the surface of Black Lives Matter. We see the exact opposite. For the first time, Black people are realizing the difficulties and the challenges that Black people are facing in this country. White people are seeing that. And they're saying, enough is enough. Now, with that good that has come out of that, the galvanizing of the harmony between Blacks and whites to stand up for this cause, we still have to look at the idea of, why is Black Lives Matter getting all this funding from these rich white men and these think tank institutions? And inevitably you have to conclude, because there is something about Black Lives Matter where they want to promote as on a global scale. On a global scale. So therefore, they will funnel their support for the organization. But I'm telling you, it is a bait and switch. We have to be very, very careful in how we proceed. You're dealing with very savvy, conniving, sinister people who set things up to fall, who fund both sides, who present smoke and mirrors, debate and switch. As David Icke said so eloquently, it is the totalitarian tiptoe. Problem, reaction, solution. They caused the problem. Murder of Black males. Reaction, we need to come together to stop this. Hey, there's that organization, Black Lives Matter. Let's all support that because it says Black Lives Matter. Solution, which is yet to be revealed in the true agenda that they're going to announce, which will be an agenda for a global change, a global positioning. You see, they can't indoctrinate you into this new ideology all at once. They have to give it to you in piecemeal, here, there, there. Because if you really knew what they were trying to push, you would reject it outright. You know, think of Caesar in the days of Rome, had so many people plotting against Caesar. So what did they do? They knew they poisoned Caesar's drink. He would drink it and vomit it up. So they said, we'll put a little bit of poison in there. And Caesar will drink it today. Nothing will happen. Tomorrow, a little bit more, till eventually he'll die. And never realize that he was given incremental amounts of poison which contaminated his system. That is what we're dealing with. Incremental amounts of poison to damage what we want, which is racial harmony. I'm going to say it again, just to be clear. I have no problem with the alphabet community. But state your purpose, promote what you really want, and don't hide behind or under the guise of being for Black males, because that's not what you're for. You're against that. And I don't understand how you can have the co-founders of Black Lives Matter, all women, when it's specifically fighting for the rights of young Black men who have been victimized by police brutality. That's a contradiction. Black males face specific issues that only other Black males understand. And the one thing that the Black community needs right now is a strong patriarchy. And a patriarchy that is similar to what we see in white America with the Chinese and with other groups on the planet. Because when you remove Black males or you remove men from their positions as protectors and providers, you set the stage for a takeover. So please take a moment to hit the like button. If you get an opportunity, like I said, YouTube demonetized my channel. I'm not making any money from videos. I don't even know if I can keep this video up. I may have to take it down. So please share it with your family and friends while it's up. And donate to the channel through PayPal. I'll put the link in the box here. Your donations would be appreciated. We're being used. We're being played as pawns to maneuver us into a certain position to where the true agenda, the global agenda, will be revealed. And when it's revealed, we won't be surprised, we won't reject it, because we have been conditioned along the way to accept it and not vomit it up. These are very challenging times. And it would be nice to say, let us all work together. The alphabet community, Black males, Black women, but we must understand all of these have their own individual issues that need their own special attention. You can't merge them. Biden said, I would be for reparations for Black people, ADOS, if it was also including Native Americans. No, 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 no. Native Americans have their own specific issue. They were almost virtually wiped off the face of the planet by Columbus and his criminal organizations. So they need their own attention. And ADOS Black Americans need our own specific issues addressed. We don't need you mixing things in there, convoluting the issue. And when you do that, nothing is accomplished. The real person who has a need doesn't get the need met. So I hope this video has gone a long way to just letting you know what we're dealing with, what we're going to need to do, and be very careful in how we move, because they have a plan and it's not readily in your face. But it will be soon. You know, thank you again. And if you get an opportunity, again, as I said, please donate to the channel. This is Kasank Ma Keperu, son of Ma and Tuti. My aunt is the beautiful goddess Heteru. Until my next video, Amen Ra.